And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about depression and hair loss here at the Hair Wire. Stick around, don't miss it. And welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Hair Wire, the place where you get hair smart. I'm your host, Sergio Cardona, alongside with the beautiful Hair Wire crew, Bisan Dipsy and Carrie Jarrett. How you guys are doing?
Great.
Good,
Thank
good.
you. Now that I'm back to this cold weather,
Yeah. You were in Cabo for a couple of days, and then you got stranded because of the cold, the incredible cold over there in Canada. I mean, is your house okay, by the way?
yes. Thank goodness. I had friends go and check every couple hours. Yeah, in Alberta, like if everybody knows, in Alberta and most in northern United States had a huge cold front, but in
Mm-hmm.
Alberta where I'm at, it got as cold as minus 50 before the feels like, and I think it felt like minus 62, which I didn't even know was possible. So I
Mm-hmm.
was in Cabo, thank goodness, but my mom was home by herself, and of course our house. If your furnace drops 2 degrees, you're in trouble. And we actually had emergency alerts come through that we had to manage and control our electricity. So I guess all my friends were telling me when they got the emergency alert, it was blackout because they already turned out their lights because we were preserving energy because that cold weather, literally like a battery has a third or a quarter less energy in that type of cold. So it was kind of scary. And I was like, go check on my mom.
No,
Oh,
cold weather is scary. I mean, a heat wave you can dodge.
I know.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we can work around that, but cold. Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
crazy. That's
yeah.
crazy. That's why I love my heat, my
I
beautiful
know.
love in heat in the island of Puerto Rico, which right now we are doing 80s and then some. So,
Yeah, I told Dino
by the
that
way,
I am not liking the cold in Florida either.
but at least
well, Florida,
Florida is cold. It's kind of manageable. The only thing is that you guys get crazy weather.
Yeah,
You go from 70 to then drop down to 30s and then go back to 70s. It's crazy.
yeah. So
Florida's
like
weather.
it was last weekend, it went down to -1, which is 29,
Yeah,
30. Yeah, and then today it's 70, tomorrow is 80. So with less than a week, we have from -1 to 80. It's just like crazy.
yeah, and
yep.
that's hard. The
It
the
is hard, yeah.
the
And
biometric
like we
pressure.
got we got all sick. Everybody's sick. Everybody around me is sick. That's not nice.
Crazy weather, crazy weather. Hey, but with this type of weather, one of the things that some like to believe that there's a lot of depression whenever we see
Mhm.
winter. Um, and today's subject is about precisely that, depression and hair loss. Now, I want to read to you guys a short letter from someone I just saw on Facebook, and she wrote something like this, and I want you to guys please pay attention to it because it is what many people go through
Mm.
with their hair loss journey. And she says, I've been on minoxidil, spironolactone, and finasteride since May, hoping to stop my ongoing dread shed. This past months have taken a toll on my mental health with no visible improvement from my meds or Nutrafol, which I tried for 6 months. I know some say it's just hair, but useless you are in it. You don't understand the deeply affecting impact it can have. Finally, I spoke to my doctor about my depression, and they prescribed Wellbutrin. My life is passing me by. Is passing me by. I barely leave the house without a hat. I even bought a 1200 fine line topper that looks fake. I'm taking it to my hairstylist and see if we can try salvage it somehow. My question is anyone else taking antidepressants to cope with their challenging hair loss journey? Does Wellbutrin worsen the hair loss? And if you have, can it work? Good luck. Can it be a good luck for me? I'm usually the unlucky one.
Mm.
What
No.
do you guys think about that letter, guys?
I can speak to that because I have been in her shoes several times. In a way, depression is a beast, and beating depression is not easy. However, I believe that taking all these medication is not going to be the answer. I know spironolactone is very well known medication for women that has androgenetic alopecia. If she has androgenetic alopecia, we don't know, but usually dermatologists will prescribe spironolactone. Spironolactone will the side effect of it of taking it, especially for women, is decreasing their blood pressure. And when we women, generally speaking, we have low blood pressure, just biologically speaking, less than men. But taking that too, it will affect her energy level. When we have less energy level, we have less mental activities. When we have less mental activities, we are less motivated to do things. So I'm trying to say is there is a cycle. It's going to go a cycle over there. Minoxidil also is a great thing for topical minoxidil for hair growth, because it will increase the circulation to the hair follicles. But if we are not moving properly during the day, and I'm not talking to this lady especially, I'm just talking generally speaking, if we're not moving properly because we are depressed, because depression will make you less energetic, less motivated to do anything. So that is actually counteracting the effect of minoxidil. You need some movement where the minoxidil will take all these blood vessels and activate them even more, right? So she's taking spironolactone, minoxidil, and you said you're
That's right.
the finasteride too.
Mhm.
So wow, that finasteride is also dealing with 3% of her hormone. We don't know what age she is, but also blocking 3% out of your hormone is not gonna help in any way. It's just adding to the cycle of depression, because hormonal imbalances will leave us not depressed per se, but it will leave us with a lot of biological issues that will cause us depression because we're not feeling ourselves. What I'm trying to say here, at all these medications that on the top they should help you with your hair growth, but also putting them all together in the mix without actually pinpointing what is the root cause of the hair loss, it is just putting pressure on her body, tremendous pressure on her body. That is unnecessarily. We don't know if she needs the minoxidil, or she will need the spironolactone, or she needs finasteride. When we take just medication just because this is what's available and we'll see what is gonna like it's a hit and miss thing, then we're just putting our body under a lot of pressure. And no wonder we have depression, because depression is not only coming from the like mental issues that we have, or like hardships in our lives we have. It's also chemical burden on our body. Our body does not know what to do, so it will go into a depressed state. It's like allergies. Our body doesn't know how to deal with all these toxins, so it will go to allergy state. Same like depression. It can come depression can be caused with so many factors. So to make it short, in a way, all these combination of medication without pinpointing the root cause, this is the problem.
Yes, I truly believe that. Now, Carrie, what do you think about this letter? If a client comes in and tell you exactly, what we just read, what do you say to her?
Well, first off, it breaks my heart hearing that. And right away, my spidey senses says, is it actually androgenetic alopecia or the typical alopecia that she's struggling with? I find that a lot of hair loss types get misdiagnosed because people don't realize there's more than one type of alopecia. For example, I get a lot of clients coming in like, my doctor says I have alopecia. Well, what kind of alopecia? Well, there's more than one type, and you need somebody who specializes in hair loss specifically to figure that out. And you could go to a dermatologist. However, not all dermatologists are trained in trichology specifically. They may take a module or a course, but we do have a lot of dermatologists we work that took the 2+ year program that we did. And so they understand hair loss and the types of hair losses that there are. And so if you have, and also too, uh, biopsies are inconclusive.
Yeah.
And we did a whole talk on that. So even if they are told that they have androgenetic alopecia, but it's not active yet, doesn't mean that they will have it. It could be a dormant situation. It could be, or they could trigger it to happen when they don't even have it yet. Maybe it's in their DNA, but doesn't mean epigenetically that it's active yet. So for me, I would be like, okay, let's do a formal assessment. Let's find out exactly what you have and get to the root of the problem. And that's what trichologists do. We literally get to the root of the problem and find out what is going on. Because when you start throwing everything all into a cauldron, stuff starts to they don't work together, and you're going to make more problems. And especially on antidepressants, I've done a lot of research on antidepressants, and full disclosure, I've been on antidepressants myself, and I'm not on them mainly because I've done my research. I know what I'm putting in my body, and I also look for more holistic ways to bring up my mood and find out what's going on. And a lot of times I find, especially where I am, they just give it to everybody. Like here, it's like candy. Take an antidepressant without finding out if they're lacking vitamin D, if there's something going on at work. Maybe they have neurodivergent tendencies. Like they don't check, they don't investigate, and they just give it to you. And me, after reading a lot of stuff from Science Direct, which is a site for a lot of doctors to submit their theses and papers and studies, I found there was a lot of connection to hair loss and memory loss. And so that concerned me. So I investigated that further. And so for me, it made no sense. And so if a client's struggling with depression, I also know factors that affect depression is you become inactive. You don't want to do anything. You become sluggish. As a trichologist, I know you need to have physical activity to create energy, to create hair growth. So if you're not physically active, you're not creating the energy to have that hair growth. I also know how your body distributes the nutrients throughout your body. And especially if you don't have those nutrients to distribute it, you're also going to lack that. Mm-hmm. And also too, when you're depressed and upset, our brain is the organ that takes up the most energy. It takes up to 20% more energy than any organ in your body. Mm-hmm. So if your brain's depressed and overactive, those nutrients are going to go to your brain, not create hair production. The first thing to go when your body or organs are struggling is your hair and your nails. So mm-hmm. your body naturally knows my brain is not working right now. It's depressed. We're pulling all nutrient factors that's going to hair, skin, nails. We're putting it to the brain because the brain needs that to function the way it is. So for me, there's a lot of things I would investigate further, and I would question and advocate for yourself and figure out exactly what is going on.
Definitely. I like this letter a lot because it exemplifies what we see every day, basically, guys. You see a lot of people having questions about their hair loss, and unfortunately, there's not too much answers. Unfortunately, there's very little information, and unfortunately, the information that is available is not accurate. Unfortunate. Most of the information out there is not accurate. And, I would love, for people to get their hands on the hair wire, go to our website, connect with us, and get true information, and actionable information on how you can manage your hair loss and what it is about this type of treatment that this lady is going through. The first thing that jumps in is the combination of spironolactone and finasteride. It's a strong combination, and I've seen doctors prescribe it, particularly for people who have been experienced prolonged androgenetic alopecia and very, very, very serious chronic condition. And they like to use it to try to keep the hair that people has, even if it's just a few strands of hair. And for that combination, you have to realize that if this is a female patient, you have a couple of things that you need to consider. For instance, with finasteride, if this woman is an older woman, then it's okay, maybe. But the ability to get pregnant, or if she becomes pregnant, that they might be issues with the fetus, they're there. So if finasteride is or dutasteride, either one or the other are not to be used for younger females who are still on the reproductive ages. So if you're experiencing androgenetic alopecia and you're not worried about getting pregnant, or you're not, you just said, I'm finished, I'm not going to get pregnant, I don't want any kids, then that's your choice, and that's okay. We respect that. But consider that the possible hormonal effects that it may have in your body. Not only that you may lose the ability to get pregnant, but what else could be happening. The other thing is spironolactone. As you mentioned, Biz, spironolactone basically it helps out the body with blood pressure, with high blood pressure, but usually it's more used as a medication to get water out of your system.
Diuretic.
Exactly, as a diuretic. Thank you. I'm thinking in Spanish. I'm like, oh, yeah, diuretic. So it is a diuretic, and as such, it is going to have an impact, of course, on the amount of water that we retain in our body. So, what happens with diuretics is if you have, for instance, let's say your electrolytes are not well balanced and you're losing lots of water, that's going to be a very important issue that they need to be handled. So if you're taking this type of medication, make sure that you're being monitored by your doctors. And unfortunately, we see a lot of people, they get their medications from someone else, and there's no medical personnel watching over this process. And unfortunately, people get they get their health affected, they get their health compromised. So if you're using, for instance, spironolactone is more likely to be used for younger females because it doesn't have that effect on childbirth, and or if they get pregnant, it's not going to affect them badly. Of course, if you get pregnant during while you're taking spironolactone, you should take it away and wait until your pregnancy is over, and then you can start it over again. And although many doctors may feel that it's not good while you're breastfeeding, but some other doctors, they feel that it's okay to use it at that time. Anyhow, with minoxidil, again, the idea is if you are actually experiencing androgenetic alopecia, then it's okay if you're able to cope with the possible side effects, the tachycardia, the heart palpitations, the
Itchiness.
the itchiness, and of course the oh my god, when your head hurts, your headaches. Okay, my English is not working today, so that's for sure. If you're experiencing headaches and things of that nature,
Headaches, I
so,
see.
yeah. So if you're taking good care of that, and everything, it's okay, and you have androgenetic alopecia, then using minoxidil in combination with either spironolactone or finasteride or dutasteride, then it's a good combination. But having all of them together, it can be quite dangerous. And although I've seen doctors doing that combination for some very advanced patients, I really don't like it. I really don't like it. The other thing is that if this patient is just a telogen effluvium patient and she's having all of these medications and she's seen no results after 6 months, and even using a supplement as good as Nutrafol. I mean, I
Nutrafol.
love Nutrafol. I love Nutrafol. It's a good supplement. But even then, you doing that combination, and it's not working for her, it's not cutting it for her, then something much deeper is happening. And definitely, I just by the reaction of it, if that combination is not working, I will say for sure that's not androgenetic alopecia. Because if a patient has androgenetic alopecia, that hair shedding should have been under control by 6 months.
Yeah.
It should have been under control by 6 months. Using minoxidil and finasteride combination, that should be under control if it is a true androgenetic alopecia, which I believe it's not. I believe it's not. And seeing that the effect on the emotional side of it, now going to her doctor and getting a antidepressant, which I feel is going to work for her. I believe that's going to do a whole lot more than what she has been taking so far. I really believe that, because after our mental health has become compromised, we really need to work that issue out. And if antidepressants is the way to go, then excellent. But again, like Carrie just mentioned, if you can avoid it and we can use something else, perfect.
Mhm.
If we can work out, if we can do yoga, if we can use supplements, to help us manage our stress, or do different stress reducing techniques, that works. But if
Well,
all
and
else fails, let's go with the antidepressant.
And nutrition is a big thing too. Like, remember I said I was on antidepressants myself. Well, found out I have celiac disease, and celiac, the number one cause, like one of the main symptoms for celiac is depression. So we found out that it was my gut health that was affecting my mental health. And so I feel like you should investigate everything before you're given any antidepressants. Yes, use it basically for a short term, but during that short term, investigate where it might be stemming from and find out it might be your gut health affecting your mental health. It could be your spiritual health affecting your mental health. Like, it's all connected, and you got to consider all of those factors. And in Bisan, you're a wellness expert. You specialize in gut health, and that's true. Like, and it's because if your gut health is an array, it's its own system, and it's not distributing the nutrients where it needs to go. It's going to affect everything. So, and I tell you, once I got my gut health in check, everything changed. I was happy, I was go lucky, I was cheerful. Like, it was a game changer.
Yeah. 100%. If she was my patient, that's what I'll do. First thing, I will test her gut and see what kind of foods are inflaming her gut. Because when we eat all these inflamed food, that is. Sorry, do you hear Sophia?
Baby Sophia. Don't worry, man.
Yeah. She just came home from the park.
Nice,
So,
nice.
so talking about inflamed gut. So basically, if we have inflamed gut, then certain foods that will inflame us, that is, doesn't inflame somebody else. That's why I will start with testing with the gut and see what kind of food sensitivities she may have, and then like avoid all these sensitivities for at least foods for at least 6 months, and let the gut repair itself. Meanwhile, I agree with you, Carrie. If she really needs to be on antidepressant medications, shall it be? It's okay, because I said, as I said before, depression is a beast, and we can't handle it. Sometimes we can't handle it, but meanwhile we fix our gut. We start doing like other practices, spiritual practices. We start eating properly. We start letting go with stuff that makes us angry and makes us not feeling comfortable. So basically, for 6 months, while you're healing the gut, you try to heal your spirit. You try to drink more water, try to put more positivity in your life, and 6 months later you can start weaning yourself out of the depression medication using adaptogens, for example ashwagandha, using like some kind of mushrooms that will help you relax and get focused on what you need to do. Because also depression, one of the things that depression makes is like doesn't make you focus on what you need, so you feel lost. And when you feel lost, your energy is going all over the place, which is this little energy you have, it's just spread it out all over the place. Then you don't know what's your value, and you start not knowing what your purpose in life is, and it's a snowball. It's a snowball. And hair loss is one factor of it. It's going to affect every other system in your body. So I am with you, lady who wrote this post. It is hard. Yes, it is hard. Losing hair is hard, but you know what's harder is losing your whole body systems too. So I always say that our God is so good with us because he gave us hair. And the first thing that goes affect when you have body system and compromised is your hair. It's just a sign from God telling you, wait a minute, there is much deeper problem that you have to look into and fix before it gets even worse. That's why I believe like our hair is our crown, right? And it's just a way of God telling us, slow down. set back and see what is going on in your life and try to fix it. Either it's gut health, nutrition, hormonal imbalances, wherever the case is. And eventually you will get out of this. Don't worry, you will get out of this.
Hopefully she will. What can we, what can we recommend our viewers? I mean, if you're experiencing heavy shedding, because the thing is that this lady, she's experiencing shedding throughout months of doing minoxidil, finasteride, spironolactone, and of course a Nutrafol. And she came to a conclusion that her hair loss has caused her a depression, and now she's taking Wellbutrin to manage her depression, which I think will help her tremendously in this scenario. But in terms of food, what can we recommend for people to start? Because definitely we are on the same page. I believe that diet is crucial. The diet is one of those areas that it is neglected on many treatment plans. Many treatment plans are incomplete because they're not attending the nutritional aspects of it. I mean, they get a lot of supplements, but they don't get an actual plan, a food plan to treat different types of conditions. So whenever we talk about telgenfluvium, Carrie, what would you like to see your clients eat?
Yeah, well, when I talk to clients when I look at my trichology, I do a holistic approach. And as you know, I do epigenetics.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the body as a whole, as a biology body and as a spiritual body. And so our spiritual body needs soul food as well. That is food for the soul. So yes, you could be feeding your physical body, but your circulatory system and your emotional system needs to be fed too. So I will investigate the food and what they're eating, and I'll ask questions and signs. And because I do study a little bit of nutrition too, I'll kind of investigate signs, and I kind of know what to look for being celiac. But then also too, with epigenetics, your genes transcribe based on how your genes and your DNA transcribe each other based on your stress factors. So just like, sometimes if you're stressed out at school or at work, you get a headache or a stomach ache, it has a butterfly effect. And so if a client struggles with depression and they're upset, I ask them, like, are you doing anything for you? Are you feeding your soul? Are you doing those things to help neutralize that negative environment that you're happening, to neutralize it to be more of a positive environment? So for example, doing things that fill your cup. Myself, I make jewelry. I could be so tired, upset, depleted. I'll go make a piece of jewelry, and I tell you, my mood will go from here to here because I'm doing something that fills my soul. It could be visiting friends that fill your cup. It could be, it's not covering it up with a TV show and a movie. It's something that is going to stimulate yourself emotionally, that is going to help balance that out. There's a lot of evidence in this. I have a story during COVID. I remember I had a friend that came out to meet us, and she was a nurse during COVID. We all went to dinner. We got to get out of jail card free and for 6 people. So we decided to go celebrate our 40th birthdays and go for dinner. And I remember this woman came in, and the girl that I'm talking about, she used to be the pretty one in the group. Like, we'd go to the clubs. We were getting drinks because of her. Like, she was, yeah. And so
Yep. We'll have that kind of friend.
We have that friend. And I remember she walked in, and I didn't even recognize her. I was looking at him like, who's coming to the table? Why are you sitting at the table? Like, I did not recognize this woman at all. And I looked closer, and I realized it was my friend. I was like, holy cow, like, you look awful. What's going on? But because she has been so depressed and so upset and angry and tired and depleted, and I told her, I said, friend, go home. Like, why are you here? You need to get rest. And she looked at me point blank, and she's on her end, and she goes, you know what, Carrie, I wasn't going to come, but my colleague said I need to do something for me. I need some soul food, and I need to be around the people that fill my cup. I'm like,
Yes.
okay. And I'm not kidding. I have a picture of her before. You can't even recognize her. We had dinner, 2 hours passed, laughing, drinking wine, goofing off, catching up. We took pictures after. It was the friend that I knew my whole life. Like,
Wow.
the picture, completely different. And she was happy. She had energy. Like, I get goosebumps talking about it all the time. And that day I realized how important soul food is and how important it is to fill your cup as well. And it helps with depression. And she said, you know what, that fueled me for a couple weeks. She goes, just to do those activities. And this is coming from an RN telling me this. So when I do talk to my clients with telogen effluvium, a lot of it's because of stress triggers. And depending on the type of stress trigger that it is, and with epigenetics, we analyze 4 areas of stress: physical stress, intake stress, emotional stress, and environmental stress. And so if you could understand which factor is affecting you, you could change that. And so we knew her stress factor was that. So when I'm looking at people with alopecias, I will figure out what's going on. Is it gut health stress? Is it emotional stress? Is it physical stress? Is it trauma stress? Like, what is it? And that makes a huge difference on changing hair loss. And you have to get to the root of the problem when it comes to hair loss. You're not going to fix anything. You could cover it up with Band-Aid, you could give all the medication, but if you're not finding out why it's happening, what's the point?
Truly believe that. Biz,
Action.
tell me about you. What would you advise in terms of food? And we have food for the soul. I love that one because we
Yes.
kind of always neglect that one. Very
Yeah.
important. Now, what kind of foods can we advise for anyone who has experienced intelligent effluvium?
Carbs.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay, you got me there. Go on.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, that's the thing with us, especially women. We are so hard on ourselves, and we don't eat carbs like at all, 0, 0, 0, because we're trying to be fit and healthy and all of the stuff, and we are really hard on ourselves. But when we're going through periods of depression, we shouldn't be as strict as we are when we are very like when we feel healthy. And when I'm saying carbs, I'm not gonna saying sugar and candy and all this stuff. No, I'm saying
This is not what you're thinking, guys. Not what you're thinking.
Healthy carbs.
yeah, I'm saying healthy carbs in a way, like in a normal life, in a normal timing. In a way, our carb intake should be around 20%, maximum 30%, depending on your activity. But all these carbs should be the healthy carbs, which is the complex carbs, like sweet potatoes. Sorry. Like oatmeal for people who can handle it. Some people can't handle oatmeal, by the way. Oatmeal, because some people can actually trigger their sugar level. So if you are a person that oatmeal will trigger your sugar level, do not eat it, because even though it's healthy carb, it's still not going to be healthy for your body system. So basically, in normal life, in normal times, what I'm saying, 20 to 30% is good enough to give us energy and to simulate the proteins that we are taking. Because if we take protein with no carbs, actually, it's not going to simulate inside our body properly. But in times of war between ourselves and ourselves, in time of depression, we need to be gentle with ourselves, with our souls, as Carrie was saying, and increasing the carb intake to 40%, not quite 50, because at 50 we're starting to be on that dangerous level, but at least make it at 40. And you may not be as active, and that's okay, but all this carb will fuel your body, will give you a little bit of energy to be able to beat the depression. If you don't have enough energy in your body, you're not going to be able to kick out depression. Depression is a beast, and it's heavy, and you need to fight it properly. And how do you fight it? You feed yourself, like you feed your soul, like Carrie's saying, and wake up in the morning and make your protein shake and put a lot of blueberries in it and put a banana in it, because all the banana has potassium and calcium in it. It will actually give you this boost of energy. And I'm not saying eat banana all by itself, because eating banana all by itself, it may spike your sugar, and that's not what we're looking for. And what I'm saying is putting it inside your smoothie with a lot of fiber, with a lot of greens, with half an avocado, with blueberries, because this will slow down the absorption of the sugar while you're drinking your smoothie, and still it will give you a good energy for the day to wake up in the morning and say, okay, I am determined today to do this and this for my soul, to go see my friend, to do this for my business, to go hug my husband and give kisses all over my neighborhood so I can feel better. If love is your language. Some people find your language too. What is your language? What is your love language, in a way? Some people love touching. Some people love talking on the phone. Some people, just Do what is your love language is, and eat a little bit more carbs. After your smoothie in the morning, during your lunch hour, take your salad with a little bit of sweet potatoes and roasted carrots, starchy vegetables. It will just increase the amount of phytonutrients in your body to be able to support your body and tell your body, I know you're depressed, but I'm giving you all the colors you need. And so you can see the colors outside too. If we don't have colors in us, we're not going to see any colors outside. Even if you're in Disneyland, you're not going to see any.
And also, too, you guys, I always reiterate to my clients, always, whether they have hair loss or not, there's scientific evidence that exercise, getting your heart rate, increases your mental health and your energy levels. I know there's days I feel sluggish, and especially in this cold weather, I don't want to do anything. But if I do like 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night, running up and down the stairs a couple times just to get my heart rate going, I tell you, it changes the mood. There's scientific evidence to back this up, that it increases your mood dramatically. So, and maybe you don't want to lift weights and you're like, oh, I don't want to do yoga, I don't want to do this. Just getting your heart rate, minimum 20 minutes a day, is going to make a huge difference. Huge.
And get outside.
If you can.
Oh yeah, you can.
If you can go out in the sun, but of course, watch out for the weather because.
So Carrie, in your case, since you cannot get out of the sun, there is actually a plate that you can buy from Amazon. It will simulate the sun rays, and then you can put it in your desk next to you.
Yeah, we have vitamin D lights in all of the main areas. So there's sun mood lights. They are an investment. They're worth their weight in gold. I'm telling you, parents out there who live in the cold climates and you have crotchy kids, trust me, my daughter will come home cranky. I'll make her go color in the color station, and we have the mood lights there. In 20 minutes, she goes from here to here. Big difference. So we have them in our hot zones, like in our workout space. I have it in my jewelry studio, in my office. We have it in our games room. I have an art table for the kids set up. I have one right there, and we just 20 minutes is all you need. But honestly, my girlfriend, she's a chiropractor from Sweden, I think, and she says even if you could just expose your tummy for 20 minutes to the sun outside, she's like, if you could bear it for 20 minutes, you'll get enough vitamin D for a full day. I'm like, why your tummy? And she goes, because that's where it absorbs the most nutrients in your body, is your tummy. So
yeah, biohackers, they actually expose something else to the sun.
Yeah, I don't do that.
What? I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. Okay, you tell me later because I'm lost.
Go look it up.
Go expose your butthole.
Oh.
I do not do that. No, thank you. Right. I'm a little too conservative for that. I'll just do my Care Bear stare instead.
They say this is where the X-rays goes inside your body.
Yeah, I bet it will go right inside of you. Okay, no pun intended. Let's go. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's talk.
And I hope we made you laugh and not depressed.
It's about getting out, guys, and do something different. If you're experiencing hair loss, definitely you will need professional help. Here at the Hair Wire, we're here for you guys. Either Bisan, Carrie, or myself. We all do online consultations. If you want to have all three of us, we can do that as well. Go to thehairwire.com. And of course, we're bringing packages for you guys. So contact with us at the Hairwire, thehairwire.com. Connect with us. Hit the like button here on the video. We need those likes, but also subscribe and hit the notification bell, because every Wednesday we go live here at the Hair Wire, and every time we're uploading new videos and new stuff. If you're losing hair, don't be afraid. Don't lose your head. Don't lose your head, really, and try to calm down. Start with your healthy diet. Start making exercises, and then work your way out. Start from the inside to the outside. Is going to be the best way that you're going to be able to nourish your body and prepare it for new hair. Telogen effluvium is a beast, and so is depression. And you do not want to get both at the same time. So try to manage those. so you can get the best hair ever, guys. Also, we want to invite you to our summit, the Hair Wire Summit. It's still on up until September. It's on demand.
The summit's
your
done till
ticket.
March. You have less than 2 months.
Yep.
March.
It was launched in September. he got the dates confused.
So
I got my dyslexic right now. Okay, sorry. It's up until March. Yeah, we start on September. Okay. Sorry. But thanks for the correction, guys. It's
That's
up
funny.
until March. So get your tickets today. Get your tickets today. If you're a professional, we have a whole section for professionals. We have a bunch of videos just for you. If you're just a patron, we have a special section just for you. And we have a special discount for you patrons. If you're not in the business, if you're not in the industry, the hair loss industry, this section is for you. And you're going to get plenty of information on how to manage to keep the hair that you have, but also how to boost it, how to get more out of it. So really stay connected here to the Hair Wire and get your tickets to the Hair Wire Summit, thehairwire.com/summit. Anything else you guys want to add before we go?
No.
We're good.
Just stay connected with us, guys, and do not feel depressed. When you feel depressed, just call one of us, and then we will give you a positivity dose.
Oh, yes.
Close the butthole.
All right, we're good. We go. See you guys next week. God bless
She's gonna
you
be
all.
stuck today.
And bye-bye.